Hello, happy Friday, everybody. It's we've had some warm weather, and now there's snow outside after being in the 70s and the 60s for part of the week. So, who knows what's going on? So this is the Friday update. I forgot to shave, so you get full like scruffy neck beard action here. But I'm going to show you what we've added to the game this week and talk about progress as we do every week. So I'll switch over here, do a little bit of an intro for a few seconds, and then we'll get into it. So this is ARPG Manager, and this is an Android-targeted mobile game, and it's basically a sim RPG hybrid. So you play the invisible sim character who is directing your explorers that you hire and gear up and build out to go on progress quest style ARPG adventures, and it will be sort of the mass style social game where you can track progress of your friends, see where you are on various ladders, trade items back and forth through an auction house type thing, but not like a PvP or any complicated multiplayer game. We're trying to make this very sort of battery friendly and work on a wide range of devices and not consume huge amounts of data plans, and basically be the kind of mobile game that is nice to the people playing it. So quick intro there for anybody new turning in who hasn't seen this project before. It is sci-fi themed, so you can see a little subtitle here. This is a placeholder screen, but a couple of big things that we added this week. So in all the prior videos, the game was effectively multiplayer from code, database, server, client standpoint and everything. But I was just creating the players in the back end. So in order to facilitate additional people testing, which is starting to happen now, we're not to the closed beta period yet, but we have some other people testing and poking around. I created a system for creating accounts and authenticating to the game, which, although simple right now, is pretty solid and should, with some UI modifications and some extra bells and whistles like email verification and stuff, should carry us into the beta, if not production. So I'm going to log in here, and you're going to see that process, and then we'll go into changes in the game. And hopefully I don't have the audio volume too loud. We've changed one of the soundtracks. We got an updated version of that from our friend the DJ, Mr. Spruik. So I'm going to authenticate here. Now you can create an account, which obviously requires it to be unique. And so anybody who wants to test basically can get the alpha build APK and create an account here and then log in with that. So we're going to authenticate into the server. And once we're verified, it's going to drop us in here. Now, the first thing you noticed here, there's a little new daily quest received. So in addition to creating the whole authentication system and wiring up all the multiplayer aspects, I also set up the daily quests, which the people signed up to closed beta test so far voted on a set of stretch goal features that, if I had time, they would like to see in the beta. And almost everyone, if not everyone, said, oh, we'd love to have daily quests. So I prioritized adding that after getting the authentication done. So we got a little notification when we logged in that we have a daily quest. Now my quest log is pretty thin here because I've been playing this account for a while and I've done a ton of quests. But this is an example of a daily quest. It's going to get, if you don't have the full complement of daily quests, which is 3 right now, and you show up after 24 hours, you log in, you'll get one assigned on login. So this is a daily quest to actually research an item and discover a new recipe. So I can complete this daily quest by basically uncovering 2 additional recipes. That'll clear the quest out. And in typical daily quest fashion, it won't assign you the same daily quest twice, but once you've completed it, it becomes possible to assign again. So there's a random set of these. Explore X number of portals, research a certain number of items, craft a certain number of items, etc. And they're all relatively simple things that you can do in-game that give you some extra engagement and give you a way to generate more player experience and have some fun. And they may be associated with item rewards in the future, but right now they mostly give you a combination of experience and currency. So this is fun, and I'll come up with more of these and add them into the rotation over time as well. As a result of that, I'll mention that another thing I spent time on this week, which isn't really code, but I created a huge number of recipes. So probably on the order of about 80 crafting recipes for items. So previously that was pretty thin. Now there's a full complement of crafting recipes for items, and almost all of the item types, except for two of the, I think the rifles and sabers still need to be done. There are a couple sabers. But all the frames, all the pistols, bows, all of the staves, all of the knives, so all the tools and the current set of power cells are all in, and they all have crafting recipes. And I did some adjustments on the power cells to make them a little bit stronger, which I think will bring the mortality rate a bit down. I also added damage variance to the monsters, which makes some of them a little weaker and some of them a little stronger. But so far the balance and the mortality rate is looking fairly reasonable. So that's the authentication, the login process, the daily quest. So you can see this is actually sort of a multi-person playable alpha build, and not too far from our closed beta target. Then the other thing that we had, and I'm going to hire someone here. Oh yes, I also added a significant increase in the dialogue, all the different types of dialogue. So one thing I do as I go is anytime I get inspired or somebody makes a great suggestion, I add more conversation to the conversation generator. And there are actually a few more additional sprite sheets for the explorers as well, so I designed a couple more explorers, but they're randomly generated, so we don't always get those. So you can see some of these new items here. We have a carbon fiber frame, standard frame. This is higher capacity. So I'm going to show you a new dialogue type that was added by killing off Hediatomo here. We don't even need to level up stats because we're going to send them off to their doom. So off we go. Actually, let's make them survive a tiny bit longer so you can maybe hear the background music. Nah, we'll just send them to their doom. So off you go. Oh, it's dangerous to go alone. Take this. Why are you mailing me pictures of swords? Bonus points for getting that reference. All right, so Hediatomo is going to go through the portal, and you can maybe hear, hopefully I didn't make it too loud, but we've changed the soundtrack for the exploration scene, which again, we don't have the monster or the scene art. There we go. So we got a message there, and now we have death lines. This was suggested by Ryan Lafferty. Great idea. So now there's a randomly generated conversation bank of things that they say when they die during an exploration. And for the most part, they're cute, funny, or actually somewhat sort of positive and reassuring, because we're not trying to make this, a giant gore fest where everybody feels terrible all the time. So let's do a couple more here. We'll hire somebody else. We keep getting the same person. So, go out there. Sorry in advance. One thing testing does is it really makes you sort of devalue the lives of your explorers, because you just got to kill them over and over. Horrible. So Sophia Pardella is doing exploration. We'll see here. With our luck, we won't hit any monsters or traps. Oh, there we go. So it goes. A little Kurt Vonnegut. There we go. So we got the death quotes and dialogues, plus a ton of extra dialogue. Yep, there's a new line. No, you look great. Hey, here's one of our new dudes. Thanks for bringing me on board. This is exciting. So there you go. So, not a super long update this time. The authentication system took a bit of work, and the daily quest system took a bit of work. I had to, it actually uncovered a few things that I had to fix, and I did a bunch of time optimizing some stuff too, because there were some inefficiencies when I profiled the quest system. So while I was doing the daily quest, I actually improved the performance and the simplicity of the quest system. And then when I created all the recipes as well, I realized that I could restructure the data on that to actually reduce the amount of memory and storage required for the recipes on the server and the client side. So I did that, so they're improved as well. So I made those kind of modifications as we go. And then I had to spend a bit of time working on tax and healthcare stuff, because the Tuesday was the filing deadline. So I lost about a day working with my accountant, getting all the tax stuff packaged up and off. But the good news is I'm expecting a pretty significant refund on federal and a bit on state as well. So I'm going to take those, and if I can get my accountant engaged again, do a loan agreement, pump that back into the business, spend more time working on this before production, and probably work with the contractors to add even more kind of art and scenes and stuff to go along with some of the roadmap plan. So the good news there is if that works out, we should have, potentially for closed beta and definitely for launch, a larger and richer game world, which I think is probably something that everybody can get behind. So there we go. Pretty productive week. I'm gonna try to take the weekend off. I'll probably end up working part of the time on Sunday, but gonna do some girlfriend stuff on Sunday, and definitely take Saturday off. But I'll be all over social media, and so if you guys have any questions or comments or feedback on this, feel free, as I always say, there's a Facebook page. You can get a hold of me on Twitter or just comment on this video. I check those out and get back to you. And you may hear back as well from Heather, Revised Angel. So she's helping out on the community management and PR front. So happy to have her on board. And that's it. So hope everybody had a great week and you have a fantastic weekend. And then we'll pump some cool new stuff into the game and probably do some balance work and other stuff next week, and hopefully make a nice update video for you. I also have an artist working on for the loading screen, which will be used elsewhere for the habitat expansion mechanic, the sort of zoomed out floating in space view of the habitat itself, so you get a sense of context of where you are in the game world. So if that's done, I'll definitely put that into the game and have you guys check that out, because I'm pretty happy with how that looks based on the sketch I've seen so far. So there you go. Thanks for all your support, and thanks for sticking it through this whole video, and have a fantastic weekend. Peace.